Last week at work, I was about 4 hours in, and I had to go really bad. So I went to the men's room, and before I started, I noticed I had my underwear on backwards. My underwear were on backwards, and yet I had never been more comfortable. With Shinesty underdraws, men, you will feel the same comfort I felt, except you'll be wearing them correctly. Shinesty underdraws have a front pocket which snuggles, never tugs, supports and lifts, but never separates, puts zero cling in your backswing. Gentlemen, Shinesty underdraws wants to put their draws on y'all's. My favorite, the threat level midnight pair of skivvies just screams class. For only $16.99 a month, they will ship Shinesty to your Highnessty. They will mail to your door one pair a month, which might not be enough. At least I don't think so. I prefer a fresh pair a day, but when you're not going commando, you will be in luxurious chapless comfort. Visit their website and tell them Midnight Radio sent you and receive 35% off when you subscribe to the ball hammock box. In addition, please visit the men's grooming section where you can purchase Happy Nuts Comfort Cream. It comes in its original scent. I guess it smells like sweat. Please visit www.shinesty.com for more details. That is www.shinesty.com. Check out the link below in the description box. The year was 2022. Shit on the YouTube streets was getting crazy, son. There was a bunch of jackass creators and morons on their panel talking about things they had no idea about and didn't involve them anyway. They just all sat around and said, it must be Heidi's fault. That's okay, we have work to do here. We have real content to create. Please join me. Prison Sexy Time 2 Judgment Day.
Who is this guy?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Midnight Radio Live. It's midnight whenever we do a show here in the studio. Heidi can't be with us today because she's on vacation.
Jerry, don't get your undies in a bundy. I am here.
Oh, yeah. What are we doing the show on today, Heidi?
I'm in the campground.
We're doing the show about Heidi's camping trip.
Oh.
Heidi had to take a vacation. We're doing Prison Sexy Time 2 today. Actually, this is
fun,
Prison
dude.
Sexy Time 1, I guess. But really, it's 2. We have a guest with us today who we've been waiting to talk to for a while now. But before we get to her, and of course, I'm talking about our retired corrections officer. Me and Heidi were having a conversation a couple days ago, and I didn't exactly know what Heidi meant when she said she knows what the true meaning of bless your heart means. So what did you mean?
Bless your heart, Jerry.
So what does that mean? We're gonna
From my understanding, I mean, I'm not a Southerner, but I've lived down south. That basically means, they don't believe you. Or not that they don't believe you, it just means, it's a sarcastic, I don't know how to explain it. The sarcastic meaning of, yeah, whatever, basically.
So I'm not sure. We need to get a hold of an expert for this. So on the line, we have none other than Mama Midnight here. Mama Midnight, are you still there?
I am, yes.
Well, thank you for joining us for the show this morning.
Always. Okay, well, I don't know what you need me for. I just got it down.
Okay.
That's what it means nowadays. It is sarcastic, believe me.
But I heard it means a lot of different things. So I got some different examples, and I want you to let me know exactly how you would say it. like there's different tones or inflections in it. So
I just didn't want to say the word that it really means, Jerry. This is a public
Dope,
show.
idiot.
there's a word it really means.
Right, Mama?
Right.
There's
It's
a,
not good.
all right. So
Oh man. Okay.
I mean, it means different things, right? So here's an example. Let's say you want to know how Heidi's doing, so you go over to Heidi's channel on YouTube, and that's fibromyalgia. What is your channel again, Heidi? Fibro Queen Warrior.
Yeah, Warrior Sisterhood.
Right. Yeah, Warrior.
What a dope.
So,
Bless your heart. You're dope.
Bless your heart.
so if you want to see how Heidi's doing, you go over there and you find out she's doing well. I mean, what would you say? Or that she's.
I would say I'm glad you're doing well. That is not a term you would use on a podcast or. See, that is it's not, no. Anybody says that, probably in the comments, they mean they hope you're doing well. It is not sarcastic. Now, if you want to go into it, the sarcastic part, I can explain that real good. It's bad. I can't. I have to clean up my mouth before I can explain about that. This is awful.
How come women see, here's my problem. I never have any idea of what's going on YouTube because everybody always speaks in code. It's because I'm a man and I don't speak the language. Or something.
No, it's because we're not allowed to say certain things, Jerry.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Well,
Got to be a lady.
Supposed to talk about.
So everything's a
Which
code
is-
is something that can't be talked about.
Well, for a good example is the pandemic that's going on. You cannot talk about the C word.
So
We use the C word. Or Rona.
okay, but how does that relate to bless your heart?
Well, I'm just saying that's what I'm trying to explain is there's code words because you can't say certain things.
Okay.
But bless your heart has a whole different meaning.
All right, I hope that's clear to everybody. Anybody there, if you know what bless your heart means, please let me know in the comments because I still don't know. Thank you, Mama
What a
Midnight.
dope. Bless your heart.
Thank you, Mama Midnight. I appreciate it.
You're going to have to ask me some questions if you want my take on this. That's all there is to it.
All right.
Because too funny.
I don't even.
Heidi's got it down. She's got it down.
So since she has it down, we'll just put her in charge of saying, "Well, bless your heart."
Yeah, that'd be good.
Matter of fact, I think we'll have to record it and put it on one of our buttons.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
Bless your heart.
we'll do that. We'll put that on there along with my new toilet flush sound.
Oh no!
All right, thank you, Mama Midnight. And I promise I'll never call you when we're broadcasting.
Yeah, I'll take that to the bank. Bless your heart.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You bet.
Bye, Mama. Good night.
Now we're going to go to our main guest. Let's see. Here we go. Hello.
Hello.
Bless your heart. I'm not supposed to say that, right? I don't know. I don't know if that was. I meant that in the best sense of the term. All right. So. Today we're going to talk about prison trysts. Actually, Heidi, why don't you say trysts better than me?
Trysts?
Between what do you call it?
Correctional officers
That's the word.
and inmates.
Yes, that is it. And I also want to talk about Gonzalo Lopez, the Texas inmate that escaped. We want to talk about that also because we have some inside information about that that's really interesting. And if we can, after we talk about the trysts, we want to talk a little bit about PTSD. So I talked to our correction officer, our retired correction officer before, and she has several stories about these trysts. Where would you like to start?
I don't know. I've got a lot of them.
So what would make, Heidi, jump in whenever you're ready. So what would make a prison guard want to have a sexual encounter with an inmate? I mean, I know what the inmate wants out of it. There's not a lot of action on the inside. None that you would want.
Whenever we start our training and stuff, you know, they always tell you there is nothing these offenders can do for you. You know, they're not going to pay your bills. They're not going to, you know, be Prince Charming or anything like this. These are convicted felons. But whenever you start working in the penitentiary, most female officers are tried. They do anything and everything to flatter you. You're the most gorgeous person. They want to take you away. They want to give you everything you've ever wanted. Whenever they get out, they're going to make so much money. They're going to be able to provide for you, only if you can help them out while they're locked up.
Damn, they've almost talked me into it already. So use the term.
Yeah, I'm just sitting back here thinking, I don't think you need to be a felon in prison for men like that. But.
So use the term tried. Is that a term for what you were describing?
Yes. Yes. It's amazing what these women fall for and what they'll go to the limits and do for them. You know, anywhere from putting money on offenders' books to bringing them food in from the outside that they haven't had in a long time, delivering mail from the inside out that they can't get out through the mailroom that's illegal, to helping their families out on the outside.
So these are women that basically have something missing from their personal lives?
Not all the time. Most of these women are married, have a family life on the outside, and they fall for these offenders. You know,
I'm just, like, for example, the one that was just in the news, Lord, she was ready to retire. She had everything going for her.
Yes,
I can't understand how somebody would give all that up.
Uh-huh.
She gave up her life in the end.
Yeah, in the end she did.
These inmates convince you that they have hung the moon, you know. They are so manipulating and so convincing. And they over-listen. You can't talk about anything personal with another officer because they're always listening. They're always trying to get tidbits of what you're doing on the outside to use later to help them get to you. And it goes, you know, we've had officers, we had a officer that worked in the commissary area that had been married for, I know, at least 40 years. And her husband worked in the laundry department right next door to the commissary. And she was having relations with an offender that worked in there as a clerk with her in the commissary area. And, you know, it went from her bringing stuff in to them having sexual encounters there in the commissary because sometimes they were alone.
So does it happen a lot with female correction officers and inmates where the inmates work? They're on some kind of work
Yes.
detail and there's some kind of privacy.
Yes. They always try to rotate the offenders out. Like, you'll have an offender work for you maybe for 6 months, and they'll try to rotate them out. That way you don't come too comfortable around that offender. But there's sometimes an offender gets overlooked. They'll be there for a year or two. And
Wow.
that's where stuff's up coming in, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, for officers that have been working out at the same unit for years and years and years, like I was, you know, I was there for 17 years, you have certain offenders that are still there from the time you started till now, you know. They know quite a bit about you, you know, and they use that against you also.
So does it happen a lot with the ones that have been there for a long time?
Yes.
Wow.
Like that one officer that was in the commissary, she had been there, and her husband had been there. Her husband was past retirement. He'd had 27 years, and she was right behind him.
Wow.
You know, and they were still working.
So correct me if I'm wrong. I've noticed a lot of the times when this happens, the husband doesn't divorce the woman. Is that true?
No, they do not. They do not divorce
Really?
their wives. Really. I've
That's
seen
amazing
in
to
multiple
me because
occasions.
that's
You would divorce your wife,
And
Heidi?
What?
most of
Jerry?
the time, the husband works at the same unit, you know, and it's like, I don't know if they convince their husband, like, oh, well, he convinced me of this, you know, or, you know, whatever, you know, he told this woman, you know, the spouse always already knows what that inmate's done. I don't know if they overlook it because of that. But whenever it goes to a point of having sexual relations with an offender, I think that would push them to leave them, but they don't leave them.
I'm with Heidi. I
Too
don't
much
think I
to
could
lose?
stay.
Maybe
Well,
they
how
have
do you-
too much to lose at that point. I mean, they've been together that long, and you know,
Yeah.
to give it all up, especially if they're near retirement stage, that you know, there's a lot to give up there
Yes. there is.
financially. I guess you could say.
So if
Yeah.
the corrections officer gets caught, what kind of punishments are they looking at?
Whenever you go through training, they always tell you, oh, you can get 2 years, you know, and state jail and all this other stuff. But as long as I worked for the prison system, I've never seen a woman do any time because of it. Usually they give them the option of quitting. We had a school teacher that had relations with an offender in the schoolhouse, and she was given probation. And most of the time, you know, they're walked out and no charges have been pressed against them at all.
But when they get walked out, they lose their retirement, right?
They lose their retirement. They have no way of getting it back. You know, that goes for if they're caught bringing something into the offender also. They take their retirement and they're not able to work for another state agency.
Now, we've established that this happens a lot with your offenders that have been there for a long time, your trustees. But are we looking at also it's happening with the prison guards that have been there for a long time also?
Yes.
Holy
Yes,
moly.
it happens a lot.
Not with fresh ones, but ones that have been there for a while.
Yeah. It's like they become in a relationship with them over a period of time because you know this offender and you've known this offender for a long time. And they built up trust with one another, you know? And that offender knows so much about them. You see the offender in the visitation with his mom, his family, and you get to know everything. You read the offender's mail, you go through his property all the time, and it's like you become, you know, acquainted with this offender. You know about his life and what he's going through. And he tells you a sob story, and you want to start helping him.
So before you tell us another specific example of this, could you tell us what the quality or the mentality of an offender is in a general sense?
They are the most manipulated. They are very smart. Very smart. They have all day, every day, 24 hours a day to think of how they're going to pull a game on you, a con on you. This is all they do. And they might have 2 or 3 other people that are doing the same thing to do, with. They even have a website now that you can writeoffender.com. Women write in. They con people through that and get money off of women.
Heidi, we should totally do that. We should have a pen pal offender and see if he tries to con us.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Jerry?
I'm thinking we should have, on the show here, we should have a pen pal offender. We should go on that website and get us an offender.
Oh, heck no, Jerry.
You don't think so?
No,
I mean, it's not going to go to our address. I mean, it's going to be, hidden and all
Get
that.
y'all a P.O. box or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, and we'll see if they try to con us. We'll be a sweet little old, 57-year-old lady who's a widow with money on a farm, something like that.
Oh my God, you're setting me up for a fall, Jerry.
Not you. We'll come up with a different name and everything. And this is a hard-hitting investigation I think we might need to do. You guys let me know what you think in the chat room there.
I think it'd be fun, actually. I mean, it would be interesting to see what, if anything, would come of it, yeah.
We can try several different ones. So on this database, like it's a website, what was the name of that again? Maybe I'll pull it up right now.
It's like writeoffender.com.
All right.
It's one of them. There's, several out there.
Here we go. All right.
Just so you know, if you hear a lot of noise in the background, I am camping on vacation while I'm doing this, so there might be some noise in the background.
All right.
Oh, gosh. I just pulled up Dennis Rader. We don't want to write him.
No.
All right, so.
What about Chris Watts?
Oh,
I think
there's a good one.
He has a lot of women writing him, I hear.
I bet he's a real ladies' man in there.
Oh, I bet he is.
Okay.
Because he's up in the state where I am.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's crazy.
They moved him up here.
Here we go.
That's crazy.
Writing an offender.
I'm taking my phone to come in. So it's supposed to clear up.
Yeah. It says, 10 o'clock.
I'm looking at it right now. Oh, here we go. There's Bruce Bailey. Mika Gray. These are some prison sexy time pictures right here.
Stephen Avery? Stephen Avery? No, I'm kidding.
Matthew Haley. 30-day free trial. What is this? Oh, no, that's fraudable. So tell us another story. Let
me tell you one that is hard to believe and you cannot believe happened. We had an officer that worked in the schoolhouse, and it happened between her and several offenders, and she basically had I want to say a pimp. You would say was a pimp on the inside too, but she was selling herself because offenders don't have money inside the penitentiary. All they have is commissary.
Let me get this straight.
Like
you said she had a pimp, or she was a pimp?
No, she had a pimp. If that's what you want to call him.
Okay.
But she was selling herself for stamps.
I heard about
offenders. And the only reason we ever found out is because the postmaster here in our town called the penitentiary and asking the warden, because she would go in her uniform to the post office and sell the stamps and get the money.
Okay, but
and
stamps are not
he
that
wanted
much.
to know why.
I must spend a lot of stamps.
I know. It's crazy. Crazy.
Priority mail.
Stamps are not worth that much.
You're worth a stamp,
It's like a
But,
tramp
yeah.
stamp, right? Ha.
Yeah.
Oh, my friend Debbie's sitting next to me. She's shaking her head. She's just shaking her head. She's like, no, this isn't real.
Yes,
This
very,
is the real
very
deal.
real.
This is the real deal.
I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe, a stamp. It's change, they go up every year, but this was back whenever, before stamps were even going up that much. But yeah, she was selling herself for stamps.
I can imagine that phone call. Yes, yes, this is a postmaster. Correction officer Smiley came in here, and we just want to know if you have some kind of new pen pal program going on, because she has like $3,000 worth of stamps.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I can see how you get caught with that.
Yeah. And, we've had breaches in security where officers have had relations with, like, our trustees, like up in the admin building, where you come in, you check out your keys, you get where we issue out the canisters of gas, all of our, travel tools, everything is locked behind here. It's like high security. Nobody's supposed to be in it. She was at nighttime, the barber up in the admin building that would cut the officer's hair. He would stay late, and they started to notice, things were going on, and inmates had been talking about it up front. So they set up a camera, and they caught her because there was like 2 doors you had to go through to even get inside this area. One door had to close before another door would open. And she was letting him inside that area, and they were having relations because there was a bathroom and everything in there. It controlled all the phones and everything to the whole unit. And they were having sexual relations at nighttime in the central control picket.
Don't they worry about, like, I hate to be crass about this, like diseases and stuff?
I know, because these inmates, they're like, I can't even describe the smell. Once you start working there, you'll always remember the smell of a penitentiary. They eat Jack Mac, they brush their teeth in the toilet, they keep their drinks cold in the toilet. You see all this stuff that they do that is very, very not good hygiene and are nasty. But you see all this. But then these women still do these things.
There's a term for that they had in the military. They call that smell fab.
Fab?
Yeah, fab. It stands
I'm
for
sorry,
feet.
you guys.
It's fab.
Good thing I'm not drinking already.
Fab stands for feet, ass, and balls.
Yes.
Fabulous.
She said she is in a minute after that.
Oh, mercy. Give Daddy a kiss.
Yes.
Well, weren't you telling us that they cooked their meals or something last time in the toilet, too?
Yes, they make like cakes and stuff and have them set up in there like a cheesecake or something that they have.
Happy birthday
it sets up
to
in the
you.
toilet.
Birthday cake.
Oh, Jerry, no. This is just...
Booty cake.
Booty cake, yeah.
Moon pie for you.
Bless their hearts, I guess I could say to that.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah.
But there's all different kinds of people that work in the penitentiary, too. You have your teachers. You have your nurses. What about nurses? You have any stories? You do?
Yes, I do have nurse stories.
Oh, my.
We had an offender that worked in the nursing area, and he had worked there for a very long time. I want to say this was before they started the rotation back then. But she was keeping, like, I want to say like a diary or journal or something
Dear
of
diary.
everything that she was doing with this offender, and one of the other nurses had found it and reported it. But it went from them in the supply area in the infirmary, to the meals he cooked for her while they worked there,
In the toilet, right?
massages,
In the toilet?
and all that.
Oh.
And also, they had nurses, because certain part of the day, there's no offenders that go to the infirmary in between chow times and in between from when the doctor's not there and the sick calls and all that. Well, the nurses will be in there, doing their documentations and all that from the day. And the nurses could order food from, like, the kitchen area, the officer's dining room, and the inmate, you call over there, the inmate would pick up the phone that was, a prison line, and they would tell him what they wanted, and he would bring it over to them. And they would unlock the doors and let him in. And there have been several times that an offender had went in there and another offender had seen what was going on and reported it, that she was having relations in the emergency room section with this offender that worked in the dining room.
He was
but
just
that's
jealous.
how he got in every day, was bringing her food.
So here's a question for you. When this happens, I mean, how often is a correctional officer injured by these felons when they're in these relationships with them?
I've never seen an officer get injured by them. Not at the unit I was at,
Okay.
It just goes to the point, they lose their job, the disgrace. If you live in a small town, the disgrace that, the whole town's a prison town, and the disgrace that you have to live through and still live in this town, because everybody knows what you did.
What you did.
There's a lot of things. Yeah. Everybody knows everybody's business, and to be put on probation and everything just for that, everybody looks at you in a different light whenever all this stuff happens, and you see these people out in public and they don't even want to look at you anymore,
Well, and even the town that we live in, we have a reformatory, is that what it's called? Reformatory prison? The prison by your house? Correctional Institute. And we often hear, when something like this happens, it'll come out in the news. And it's not a big city, but it's not a small city either.
Yeah.
And
it's just a disgrace that you put your family through, not only yourself,
Here I don't think it's ever in the newspaper or the news. It's just, word of mouth. You see the guy that was working at the prison, working at the gas station, like, what happened to him? Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, and it's like, let me tell you about this, But, yeah,
so
that's what happens here.
I heard a story one time about this inmate, which I think they call them customers now. That's what I heard. His job was to take a tractor and mow.
Yes.
Tell us that one. Tell us that one.
This offender was a trustee inmate, lived in the trustee section, and these offenders are allowed, most of them drive tractors, they tend to the horses, the dogs, and all that at the unit. This inmate would go out every day and get on the tractor and do whatever he had to do that day and then come back at a certain time. Well, one day he didn't come back at the time he is supposed to. So immediately, whenever we have account time and there's an inmate missing, we go on lockdown. We start looking, everybody goes out, starts looking. They send out the dogs and all that. Well, they found the offender at the train tracks, which wasn't probably maybe 5 miles from the penitentiary. I wouldn't even say 5 miles. I'm going to say about 2 miles from the penitentiary. And he was meeting his wife every day at the train tracks and having relations with her at the train tracks. But now, you know, he got an extra 20 years put on his deal for attempted escape, is what they charged for. But
20 years?
in all reality, he had been doing that all this time, but this one time he lost track of time.
He had like 12 kids since he was incarcerated.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'd still have to pay child support if she left
I
him.
know.
I think a good lawyer could get him out of that.
Yeah, I think they charged him with that.
Jerry, come on.
It's like, I didn't do it. I was in prison. You can't prove it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
You can't prove I did it.
20 more years. Out of all the stories, that one there, I'm like, well, yeah, I can maybe see myself doing something like that. But I'm like, 20 years, no.
And then you lose your trustee status. You'll never be a trustee again, you know. So now your family has to come see you, you know, in a visitation room, you know, behind a glass and all that, because now you're an escape risk, you know. So he lost a lot by doing that.
So it doesn't just happen to female correctional officers either, does it?
No, it does not. No, it does not. We had, I want to say this officer, he's about 65, almost 70.
Lordy, probably close to retirement, I'd hope.
Yeah, he'd been there for years and years and years, close to retirement. But he would buy offenders commissary just so he could watch them do sexual things to themselves. And all this, you know, the inmates started complaining about it. The inmate cellies started complaining about it. And that's how we all found out about it. You know.
Was he taking pictures or something?
No.
He just had him do so.
Pictures. He just wanted to watch them.
Oh, Lordy.
Yes.
So here's my question. Do you see, like, if a male correctional officer is having a relationship with a female inmate, are they looked at more severely than a female correctional officer and a male inmate?
You know, whenever the male officers work in a female unit, there's so many things they're restricted to do to a female, you know, like pat searching and stuff like that. But as a woman working in a male penitentiary, we're still obligated to do the pat searches, you know, strip them down to their boxers and all that, which the male officers are not allowed to do to the females, you know. But the females are judged so much harshly for what they do with a male offender than what a male does with a female offender, because it's always the female, you know, they're seductive, you know, and the male fell weak to it, you know. They go and they admit, yes, I did this, I'm sorry, you know, and everything's like a hand slap and everything's okay. But it's like the females are looked so much harshly against what they do with a male offender.
We need equal rights for prison sexy time. It's just not right.
Yes. And it's like that male officer, he was near retirement, so they let him retire. And there was no disciplinary, no punishment or nothing like that. Well, that officer went to another, from, you know, a state prison to a state jail and worked there in another town and had another relations with an offender and helped him escape that unit.
Right.
Whoa. Yes, which fell all back on the warden at the current unit, you know, and it was a big deal. You know, the warden didn't lose his job or nothing, but there was a lot of going on behind the scenes on that one.
Didn't the warden have to personally go over there and make sure that the inmate got captured?
Yes, our dogs, everything was called out on that one, and the warden stayed there with the Texas Rangers and everything with that one until he was caught.
I think that's a good segue into our next story here, because we have some breaking information nobody else in the world has. So this also happened in Texas here. Let me pull this up on the screen for everybody. All right. So I
can't see it, Gary.
I know. Well, look into your phone. His name is Gonzalo Artemelo. I can't read his middle name. Let me see this again. I can't see it either. All right. Let's just call him Gonzalo Lopez, 46. This is the inmate that was on a hospital bus, and he stabbed an officer. He stole the transport bus. All right. This happened on May the 12th.
Yeah, I think that's...
All right, May the 12th.
I remember.
Yep. He is affiliated with the Mexican Mafia, has ties to the Rio Grande Valley and San Antonio. He should be considered armed and dangerous. Do not attempt to apprehend. There is a reward for $10,000 if you have information leading up to his capture.
I think it's up to 50,000 now.
You're right. It is up to 50,000 now.
Yeah.
So
he still has not been found, correct?
He has not been found.
No, he has not.
I'm showing his pictures and his things right here. So in 1996, he was convicted of 2 counts of aggravated assault, and he received 2 8-year sentences in 2006. He was convicted of capital murder and aggravated kidnapping and was sentenced to life in prison. Additionally, Lopez received a second life sentence after he was convicted for attempting capital murder. So we have a murder on the loose, ladies and gentlemen. The driver's injuries of I heard it was a hospital transport, were not life-threatening, and the stolen transport bus was later disabled. All right. So what can you tell us about this? First of all, for those of us that haven't ever worked for the prison system, what is involved in transporting a prisoner on that kind of a bus?
The bus is it looks like a school bus. You know, the offenders are put on the bus and they have restraints on. And like your capital murders that are a higher security, they're placed in a different section of the bus, like a wire mesh area. You know, it's like it's like a fencing area. And they're kept in there separate from the other offenders that aren't so high risk, the minimum and medium security offenders. Whenever an offender goes out on a transport, and this is where he had to have help getting out of everything that he did and doing what he did. In the Texas penitentiary, the offender not only has hand restraints on, but they have chains around their wrist and a lockbox in the middle of the hand restraints with a padlock on it, and that chain runs all the way down to the leg irons, and around each ankle there's 2 different padlocks on those. So there's 3 different padlocks, and the key to those, all of them are separate. None of them match. So you got 2 pairs of restraints on this offender, and those holes are covered up by this lockbox where he can't mess with the holes on the restraints and get out of the restraints. It's like a blue lockbox. Not only did he get out of this, but he cut a hole in the wire meshing fence that he was in and got out of the bus, out of that section, and got to the driver. It's
Wow.
extremely, extremely impossible for him to do without help.
Planned out?
Yes. And I've heard from a reliable source that a female was involved in helping him, and they do have her on
So
this.
she was
And
arrested.
it hasn't been put out in public yet,
Until today.
but it's from a reliable source that she did help him.
And right here it says that he reportedly got out of his restraints and a metal cage before stabbing an officer and stealing the transport bus. Was it a female driving the transport bus?
No, a male officer was driving the bus, and in the back of the bus, in a metal area, there's an officer back there that's armed. Sometimes there's one, there's sometimes two, depending on how many offenders are on the bus. He got out, and stabbed that officer, gained control. Well, the officer in the back of the bus jumped off the back of the bus, went around with his shotgun, and that's when the inmate took off in the bus, and that officer shot the tires off on the bus to stop the bus. And whenever the bus stopped, the inmate was seen jumping off the bus and running from the bus into a wooded area.
And he still
And that was
has
the
not
last time they seen him.
he still hasn't been captured. So even though he would have certainly had to have help, and they found out that he did, and they arrested the person, man, even with help, that was something just almost impossible to do, you think?
It's impossible. It is very impossible. I don't understand how the transport officers did not catch that his restraints weren't put on properly. It's something they do every day, and they're probably lax on it, but whenever you have an offender like that on your bus, that's something that you need to do. You're supposed to go on that bus every day and search that bus, make sure there's nothing on that bus, look for contraband, everything, clean the bus out, and then that's whenever you let the offenders on the bus. And that's whenever he's put in this area and, the door's locked up. There's no way this offender could have cut through a fence and got out of his restraints in like an hour ride. There's no way. It's impossible without having some kind of help.
Now it says here, and we know that he's a murderer, and he's been murdered several times. It says he has affiliations with the Mexican Mafia, but I heard that he was considered. I mean, this is a dangerous man. He's dangerous. He's got life in prison. He has every reason not ever to do whatever he can to not go back. But I also heard that he was considered a snitch by the Mexican Mafia, and he has a hit out on him. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, it's not the Mafia. I heard it was the drug cartel that's after him, which he is affiliated with the Mexican Mafia, which they're two separate deals, So, in a way, he could not cross the border and go back to Mexico, because the cartel will get him. If he might be dead. Who knows? They might have got to him by now.
So for those of us that don't know, the Mexican Mafia, are they in Texas?
Yes.
Okay, so the Mexican Mafia is in Texas and the cartel's over the border.
Yes.
So his
but
best
there
shot.
is Mafia in Mexico too,
Oh, okay.
You have your different gangs. There's 5 or 6 different Hispanic gangs, and they all, work together or against one another,
Well, I sure live a sheltered life up here. I had no idea.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't. That's why we do what we do here. All right.
Yeah, I mean, that there's something with that story. I mean, like you said, there's no way he did that by himself. There's
no way. There's one picture online that you can look where they say it was like from a video camera of him being escorted. If you look at his hands, you can kind of see the blue box and the padlock on there. So he had it on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just no way. There's no way.
Let me see if I can find that video. Let's see.
The only way I could think of is if his hand restraints, if a female officer put the hand restraints on so loose that he could slide his hands out of the restraints, but then he still has the leg irons on. So I don't know how he would have got those off.
And
because
you said
those
there's
are put
3
skin
different
to skin. Because on the leg irons, we pull up the pants leg and pull down the socks and make sure the leg irons are around the ankle tight enough that they're not moving. That way, you know, you can't slide it off your sock or slide it off your pants. So we want to make sure that metal's hitting that skin and that they're tight enough.
Oh, they're trying to put a commercial in here.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I can't believe it. Yeah, I saw a picture of the bus, a video of the bus just sitting there, but I didn't see the inmate leaving it. But yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll probably, as we're talking right here.
It's like a wanted poster that they have out right now. Mm-hmm. And you'll see him like walking, and he's got his hand restraints on and everything, like he's going to the bus that morning. And it shows him with his hand restraints on and everything through a video camera picture of him. So if y'all see that, you can see the padlock on it, and it's like a little blue box that's on it, the hand restraints.
So do you feel like talking about PTSD? It's a beautiful morning to talk about it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a beautiful day out here.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Is it hot over there, Heidi?
No, it's supposed to be 70 today, but right now it's overcast and it's sprinkling just a tad. So we're just sitting under the awning.
So you're having a good time.
Having a cocktail. 5 o'clock somewhere, as we say here.
I'm having a spicy mineral water.
Yeah, it's a spicy mineral water. You just drink that, Jerry.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Right here. Oh, no one can see.
Hey, I'm on vacation.
That's right.
And I do live in the beer state of America, so.
Beer and cheese.
Yeah, beer and cheese. And old-fashioned.
I live in the Dust Bowl.
Yes, very dustable.
Mm-hmm, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool last night, though. Cool and damp.
Must have been nice.
No, it wasn't, actually.
Oh.
It was hot as hell where I was at.
I know. I'm jealous. See, you guys are jealous of us because we have a cooler up here, but we're jealous of you guys because it's warmer there than it is here.
That's just human
I think
nature.
It's going to be, 106 today here?
106?
Yeah.
Wow. It's supposed to be 80 tomorrow and 90 on Monday, which is actually very warm for this time of year.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I know. I'm sitting here shivering, actually, and I've got a sweatshirt on.
I recently had a PTSD attack. It was actually earlier last night is the last time I had it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to talk about it to let everybody know what it feels like. Specifically, one aspect of it, you can't control it. That's the worst part about it. With me, it is not as bad as a lot of other people have, thank God. But it happens in specific instances. I might have it like once a year, once every 5 years, you know. I don't have it very much, and a lot of people have it more. But for me, if it has something to do with somebody calling me a liar. And if if it has to do with the military, somebody questioning my integrity, or if somebody is masquerading as a wounded vet, and if you listen to this person, which I'm not going to mention any names, Susie Q, and you listen to this person, you believe everything they say, then you can't believe what they say because the story changes a lot. See a link to the video below. So this, on Memorial Day, and the Memorial Day made it worse, really.
Yes, it did.
Really. And bless her heart, it really set me off. And I'm not violent when I have PTSD episodes, thank goodness. Man, I'm shaking just talking about it. Because it's real. My heart's beating real fast. And then when other people are being lied to and they believe it, and we're talking about extraordinary lies.
Extraordinary, yes, you could say that.
And the way it was affecting the subs I saw, and these were my subs also, you know, sending emails to YouTube to pull my video, and I am a veteran, and I am wounded, and I'm legitimate. Every veteran who is a real veteran can show their paperwork at the snap of a fingers because that's where your benefits come from. And it's not a problem, no big deal. Boom, here it is. And yet I was treated like I'm a liar and I'm a villain and I'm bullying somebody. So this just set me off really bad. But the part I wanted to let you guys know about is how it's involuntary because people don't understand. Man.
It's been a rough week for you. I mean, we've had long conversations about this.
So I just want people to know if evidence comes out about some of this, which I'm sure it will. I know there's a lot of subs that unsubscribe because they feel like I should pull my video down, which isn't going to happen because it's not.
It's happened to me too.
I'm not upset. Once you guys find the truth, you guys can come on back. I'll be here for you. It's no problem at all. Seriously. I'll be here.
Yeah. And I think the truth will come out, Jerry. And you know I have your back on that.
I mean, there's a link below for you guys. Just look at that. And that's not me saying anything. That's Susie Q saying it herself. But, I mean, it's not even about proof. It's about people feeling sorry for somebody. I don't know. But as far as PTSD goes, and our retired correction officer has PTSD also. Could you describe it for us? To me, it's like being in a box, a suffocating box, and I don't know, like last week when this happened, I lost 5 days. I do not remember. I was upset the whole 5 days. Involuntary. You can't not think about it. I do not remember a thing. The video that I did, I do not remember, folks. There's like my wife looked at it and she told me about it and she said, no, you didn't say anything bad. You just said it seemed like this and it seemed like that. I remember, all I remember is the quality of what I was saying. I was trying to be calm, you know, and not be mean or cuss or anything like that, but I really don't remember it.
With my PTSD, I explode. I have severe anger. And mine, it happens like, I want to say once, twice a week, I'll have issues. And mine, it's like it drains me. I get so wound up and so angry. My blood pressure goes up. And I'm so angry. And I can go on a month and then somebody bring up what happened and it'll come up again. I have big issues with like with my job, I was responsible for a bunch of people's lives and everything. I don't like people that don't do their jobs. That irritates me at the job I'm at now. Whenever a man does something towards a female, and, you know, just because he thinks he can, that sets me off really bad. I had an episode at work where a man pushed a female and nothing was done to him, and that set me off for, I bet, a week. I was enraged for a week at work.
Yeah, it's so for me also, it's a victimization of somebody else.
Yes,
Blatantly, and then when they're lying about it and they're victimizing somebody else.
Yes, I can't stand for somebody to sit there and tell me a lie, and I'm sitting there like, I know it's not true, so why are you bold-faced lying to me, you know? That sets me off.
There's all different kinds of PTSD, and I recently, Jerry, I think we were talking about this, found an article on which I never even thought of myself as someone with PTSD, but they're now linking a milder form of PTSD with fibromyalgia because of the way our lives have changed because of it. And I understand kind of. I can't say that I understand how you went through it, but this past week set me off immensely. Yesterday when I was getting ready to come camping, there were things that I found out, and my heart was racing, like you said, and I was ready to just explode and cry and just have a total meltdown. And I couldn't stop from feeling this way until I actually got here. And my friend's here, and, you know, my husband doesn't understand it, but, you know, why I let these things affect me. And like you said, it's the lying. Someone you thought was truthful, someone you think is your friend, and you find out that everything is a lie, pretty much.
Twilight Zone
and
type stuff.
It's very hurtful. And
yes,
Jerry and I have talked a lot this week. I think I've calmed him down at some point, and he's probably calmed me down. But there was also a point where I got so angry, I started basically, I don't want to say attacking Jerry, but I was questioning him and the validity to everything. And I said, I just needed show me what you have so I can, you know, make it real in my head. Does that make sense? And once I saw the proof, it just threw me into I can't even explain to you. I mean,
it's almost like your brain is a melon and is being scooped out. I mean, this is...
Debbie, how was I when I got here last night?
Pretty upset.
See, she calmed me down. She always does.
I get nauseous. I get nauseous when something like this happens. I found out more right before we started. I mean, I found out a lot more and almost vomited. I didn't know if I was going to be. Yeah. It'll be all right, though.
Do I even want to know? We'll talk about that later.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I don't want to know anymore. I really, I can't. I mean, and the worst part about it is I ran out of my anxiety medication,
See, I think I need some
And-
medication. I really do. But it's so
I
rare.
think you do too, Jerry.
I do.
I really do.
I don't have it here with me, and just sitting here talking about it again, Jerry, my heart is racing, and you know how I get. I want to cry. I just want to explode, and
Poor Heidi. She gets anxious a lot. She gets really, really, really,
I get
really
anxious.
anxious.
I have severe anxiety,
Yes.
and I don't have my medication on me right now, and I go also into withdrawals from not having my medication. What they have me on. Then I'm going to have my husband go back home and pick it up from the pharmacy because I won't make it through tonight, tomorrow without it.
Yeah.
Or you could just have another beer.
Oh, I'm drinking one right now. I'm sorry, but I am. That's what we do when we go camping.
Heidi's like this. She has one on both sides. So I don't take medication because my PTSD is so few and far between, thank God. I exercise and I've talked to somebody, but if you're talking to someone else with PTSD,
yeah, I know. There's a thing.
I know.
I can't because of my disabilities.
I know. But I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking medication. Like that one night before I went live, I thought talking about it, I didn't have anybody to talk to at the time. I didn't want to call the 1-800-VET, I'm having mental issues line. So I'm like, well, let me just go in here and try to talk to people, which I mean, isn't always the best thing to do apparently. But, it didn't help at all. It might even have wound me up more, but. And another problem too is talking with other people that have PTSD. Then you both get wound up.
Yeah. Well, I didn't that night. That night, I will have to say, I don't know. I mean, you called me at 3 a.m. I was still up, and I was watching the video, the live, and my heart just sank. I mean, I'm sitting there, how many hundreds of miles away, and I consider Jerry a very good friend, and I'm sitting there, tears are running out of my eyes, and I'm just like, oh my God, what's happening? And I don't know how to deal. I'm not a qualified doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I may play one on YouTube, just kidding. But
that's good enough for me.
My heart broke for him. My heart, and then when he called me and we were talking and all, I think we both calmed down at that point. And he messaged me later and he said, thanks for talking to me. I'm feeling calm. And I know we were talking again, last night or yesterday morning, and my husband is like his wife is about this stuff. They don't understand why we let it get to us. And it's a simple fact of the lies that are, I have never understood, I shouldn't say understood, how evil people on YouTube are, how mean they are. And I was going to take my channel down. And I had close to 1,500 subscribers. And I was in the process of privating all my videos, my lives, and I got talked out of it. I've gotten a lot of support. Please don't leave us. Please don't leave us. It's a fibromyalgia support group, basically. And so I stayed, but I took myself off YouTube for, what, Jerry, 8 days?
8 days.
8 days. And he messaged me one morning and he says, don't you think your subscribers are missing you? But I was going through some medical issues also, which is why I kind of went off because I didn't know what was going on at the time with my health. And then once I found out this week, I did go back on. But with everything going on, like I said, I started questioning Jerry's validity, and I believe that's all resolved now. And I don't question him at all. And the other person, I need to flee. Thank you, Debbie. Because people are very vicious, evil, and mean on YouTube. Very. If I would have known now if I would have known then what I know now, I would have never started a YouTube channel. Period. Never.
I want to be clear on this. I don't consider the person Susie Q that I'm talking about.
No. I'm not referring to her.
I know, but I want to make it clear
general.
to everybody listening. I don't consider her vicious, evil, or mean at all. It's something beyond that, and the true story just breaks my heart beyond recognition. The true story of Susie Q is 1,000 times sadder than the fake story. And I just, when I dig into the little things, I can't comprehend the sadness.
Yes.
So there's that, but yeah, I just wanted to let it. My wife doesn't always have to deal with.
I'm not referencing her, Jerry. I'm in general. That's in general.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to talk about that. So we're talking about vicious and mean people on YouTube. I'm talking about some of the subs,
Oh, yeah.
But I don't even fault them because they only get half of the story. Just me, myself, I get half of the story because everybody's in code words and stuff, but they're manipulated it's easy for them to be manipulated.
They don't know what we know.
It's easy because I wouldn't even want to talk about it if I wasn't. It's just. But they get manipulated, so I can't even be mad at them. I understand because I was right there with them.
Yep. Oh, and
it becomes.
I agree with you 100%.
It becomes like it's not even about the truth. It's about feeling sorry or emotions for this person. I understand. I completely understand. But yeah, so as far as PTSD goes and it not being your choice to feel a certain way, it's automatic and you fight like hell not to feel that way, but you can't. And I don't think there's anything wrong with taking medications. I'm going to look into having something, for my attacks I have once or twice a year,
Maybe some Xanax? Isn't that what somebody posted on your video?
Yeah, somebody. Yeah, but they didn't post it in a mean way. I think it was sincere.
No. It was in a very respectable, kind way. Basically saying, do you have anything to help you calm down?
I've seen a lot of people get mad about Xanax comments. But I read that. I'm like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
That might have worked. So
I've been on mine for so long, my medication, and it helps me, but I still have my moments where I explode.
Yeah,
I explode a lot.
It helps you in the moment.
Mhm.
But the feelings and the emotions are still there after the medication wears off.
Yeah.
So
I think
you
it would
still
probably
have that to deal with.
Yeah. Well, so it would relieve it. Well, I don't have it very often, so I don't think I'd build a tolerance up. Unless you have to, do you have to build it up, or can you just take one when you need it?
When you need it.
Like I take mine that I am on. It's a pill that you have to be weaned on and weaned off, so I don't have an option to take it when I need it.
Okay.
You're probably on the
mine's
same
an
thing
everyday pill. If I don't take it, I get sick.
Oh, Lord.
I get severely sick without taking it.
Yep. You're probably on the same thing I am then.
Yeah.
Good Lordy, I don't know if I want that if I only have an attack.
No, in fact, the harsh reality of my situation is a doctor put me on this medication 22 years ago for insomnia. And
I don't think
I
it's working.
can't get off of it. There are places my insurance will cover me to go inpatient because it's very, very, very hard to get off of. My insurance will cover me to go inpatient, but no one will take me inpatient because I'm not, quote, a drug addict. So I can't get help to get off of it right now. And I've tried for
Heidi,
years.
whenever you try to get off of it, do you have like anger issues?
No.
Are you angry whenever you don't take it?
Oh, when I don't have it? I don't think so. I mean, it's more of the withdrawal symptoms where you get real shaky. Like, you know, my kids have seen me when I don't have it, and they say I almost look like a heroin addict when I don't have it.
Yeah.
Going through withdrawals. My head
I have
gets
like
bugged,
the sweats
you
and
just
stuff
get
like that when I don't have it.
Your heart's racing, you're shaky, your head's like, I can't even explain it. It's the most god-awful feeling in the world.
Yeah. But I find that I'm very mean when I don't have it also. I'm very mean. My kids know when I haven't taken my medication. They'll tell me, have you took your meds today? You know, you need to take your meds.
So what about Xanax? Is that a different medication that you just take it as you need it, or?
I bet you can get a low grade that you could do that with.
Yeah. Or Valium.
Yeah. Just as you need, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, the stuff that I'm on is an anxiety medication, but they put me on it 22 years ago for insomnia because it helps you sleep. And, you know...
You barely sleep. It's not working for you, Heidi.
No, it's not. It's not. It does in the moment. Yes, it does in the moment because at one point this past week when I was really bad, I was on the phone with some friends of mine, and they're like, "Take your medication. Take a pill. You know, do it now." Well, I'm only allotted so much per month. And I think I'm going to, the problem is I think I'm going to have my doctor change the way the prescription's written, because now with me being diagnosed with the Hashimoto's disease and on top of everything, which also messes with they call it roid rage, is what I've been told. Your emotions go from one extreme to another, and I have noticed that with me a lot lately. So I need to talk to my doctor about that until I get everything in control. My emotions just explode on me.
I've noticed that, but I forgive you.
Oh, I forgive you too, Jerry.
I mean, I noticed. Yeah, you do actually. I text yell to Heidi sometimes, and I'm not aiming it at her. But yeah.
No, he knows.
Yeah, she knows.
But I was triggered a lot this week.
And
like
you
too.
You know,
and
yeah,
you just don't know what to think or believe anymore.
No. Yeah. Oh, Lordy.
You know, and the three of us talking about this, we all have different backgrounds and a different form of the PTSD. And you see how something like this can trigger three different people with a different aspect in life, how things like this affect us.
She even got triggered. She got triggered listening to my stories.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, that's kind of what I do here on the internet, isn't it? Trigger people with my stories. If you're good at it, you might as well get paid for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Which reminds me,
agree.
I want to remind everybody, I'm going to put this at the beginning of this too, that you can watch everything we do on Spotify. So if you have Spotify, I'm going to put a link here in the description. You can watch everything. By the way, there's different rules for Spotify. So there's also something called noagendatube.com where I put videos of this, which means I can never be taken down for any reason. So chew on that, people. YouTube, I didn't start on YouTube, people. I didn't start on YouTube. I'm bigger than YouTube. And furthermore, we're working on a Roku channel. So think about that. I'd like to thank our guest tonight, our retired corrections officer. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Jerry.
We look forward to this. And you delivered Prison Sexy Time 2. You know, I got in trouble.
Yes, she did.
I got in trouble
she
for...
did.
She did. I got in trouble for our last video we did, Prison Sexy Time 1, because they told me the title and the content didn't match.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I want to know who
explain-
reported that, because I know YouTube doesn't like watch everything you do.
Yes,
So
Oh, they do.
Really?
They do.
Okay. Well, so somebody there at YouTube or somebody watching us is like, he didn't deliver on the Prison Sexy Time.
No, it's the
wasn't
words
sexy
that
enough.
were in the title. Actually, is what happened, and it's so ridiculous. Like I said, there's certain things you just can't say or talk about, and it's like, okay, what happened to freedom of speech in America here, people?
NoAgendaTube.com and Spotify. That's where it is. So I shouldn't even put like sexy in the title.
No, yeah, exactly. You have to word it in a. I can't remember what you and I were talking about.
Well, I had to reword it as prison stories. So, but I mean, my thumbnail is sexy time. So, hey, we're sexy time, everybody. Heidi, thank you for calling in on your vacation. This just doesn't work without you.
I know, but hey, we got it done. We got it done, Jerry.
Thank you all. We'll be back here pretty soon. I got some stuff planned for Memorial Day, and we'll see if those interviews go through. Until next time, good night and God bless.
Good night, Jerry. Good afternoon, Jerry, and a beautiful correctional officer.
Good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you may
good
be.
night.